What up? Oh man, I am so sorry I'm late. I was having a tech issue with my webcam, actually. For some reason, it was just asleep. So I had to, like, do a whole new setting. Like, I had to just completely redo it. Yeah, I mean, it's inconsequential, I guess, but yeah, sorry about that. We are a little bit late. I'm gonna tweet about it. But yeah, we are live. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Sorry I'm late. Apologies. According to my stream, we have 0 people watching. So somehow, I guess all of you... I guess all of you programmed your comments in advance and are punking me right now. I missed the entire World Cup, and it really depresses me. Yeah. Oh, there we go. It's loading in. It's saying there's 14 of us. 29? Alright. Oh, here we go. Get your news on with Ron. If you want to know what's going on, we're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. If you want to know what's going on, we're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Flacone. Go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. If you want to know what's going on, getting our news on today. Yeah, 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 yeah. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. I know the World Cup isn't over. I'm just saying I've missed the whole thing so far. I have missed the entire freaking thing. I don't know what teams are left. I don't know what's going on. I know there's some fantastic games I missed. I saw one segment of an Argentina game, and that was it. And it's kind of a bummer. But, yeah, I mean, I guess it's not too late. You guys are right. That's a good way to be optimistic. Good job, Ron, on RT Crosstalk. Thank you, Piano Man. Very much appreciated. Vamos, Mexico. Chris Walker pulling from Mexico. Right on. Vamos, Mexico. Anyone but England. Rob Smith says, Rab Smith. Yeah, I'm not really. I'm just pulling for a fun series. You know, I don't really have a dog in the fight. And I've missed everything, which I do feel badly about. I do enjoy soccer. You know, I enjoy soccer very much. I wanted to come up with a light question for today because it's Friday, and it's been a hell of a week, you guys. It's been a hell of a week. We've seen some democratic socialist victories, some progressive victories. We also have to frame that in the big picture and wonder what that means for the steps forward. And there's still a lot of questions. There's still a lot of hurdles. There's still a lot to be overcome. Also, there were more shootings. There was a shooting in Annapolis, and that happened shortly after our stream ended yesterday. Otherwise, we would have had yet another shooting that we covered in real time as we were finding out about it. There have been, I can think of 2 off the top of my head. There might have been more shootings that happened while we were streaming, that we all found out about a shooting for the first time. There's been at least 2 school shootings. I don't keep a running tally of how often that happens because, quite frankly, it's really fucking depressing. It's incredibly depressing that that's a thing. But given the nature of this show, that we're all getting our news on together, we're all looking at the news for the first time, we find out about shootings in real time, and we don't know how to respond to it. It's a very visceral experience for all of us. And I guess in some ways I feel like comforting is a weird way to put it, because there's nothing comforting about a shooting, obviously. But I guess if there's a way you gotta find out, it's cooler to be on a stream of people all expressing their concerns versus just being alone, reading a newspaper or reading an online article, which is the more likely scenario in my case, and just kind of, cursing to yourself. Instead, it's more fun cursing with you guys, I mean, it's way cooler that way. It helps me cope with it all, and I'm sure it does the same for you guys. At least I certainly hope it does. But, had it been a little bit sooner, that would have been yet another shooting that we would have discovered together on real time. But it's pretty scary. It's a pretty scary world we live in. And we'll see if we have any follow-ups on that today. Last I checked, we still don't really have a motive for that gentleman. I believe. I shouldn't say gentleman. Just committed a crazy shooting. Anyway, so let's see here. Let's jump into it. Let's do the question for the day. So my question, guys, I don't like to always do housekeeping here, but sometimes I really do like to. So this is my question. Graham Elwood and I are touring for stand-up, as you guys know. And my question, it's a very simple one. Where do you want to see us? We're booking 2018, we're booking the end of 2018 and 2019 now. We're already Northern California. We're working on getting that locked in. We're talking to some places in San Francisco, working on nailing in some dates for that. We're also going to come to Colorado, Florida, and it looks like Hawaii. So, but I want to hear from you guys. Where do you want us to come? What are some cities we might not have thought of? What are some places where you feel there's a good progressive swelling? If you're part of a DSA chapter or a Green Party chapter or an SA chapter, or you're part of a radical newspaper or a radio station, or you're a candidate running, we want to hear from you too. We've had a lot of different groups tabling at these shows, which has been really freaking awesome. So, I want to hear from you guys right in the chat. Where are some of the cities that you're at that you'd like to see us come to? What's a group you're a part of? What's an organization that you think might want to come out and might want to see our show? We do a fun show. It's a stand-up show. It's exclusively stand-up. It's me and Graham Elwood doing 40-plus minutes of stand-up, each of us. So, yeah, I'll turn it to you guys. I think you get it. Let's see. Let me scroll up. New York City. We're working on New York. We're definitely going to get on New York City. Absolutely. We're going to get on New York City. And Florida, Case, we're working on Florida. Where do you want to see us in Florida? Mike, I wish you could have made it to Asheville too, man. We had a great time. Asheville was awesome. Solidarity, we just came to San Diego. We were in San Diego in May. We'll definitely be back. I'm not sure when, but we will be back to San Diego, but we were just there in May. Columbus, Ohio. I'm going to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, November 23rd. That's not with Graham. That's just solo. But I will be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, November 23rd. All my Pittsburgh friends, you can grab tickets at romplacone.com. But yeah, Columbus. Got to go to Columbus. That's definitely on the list. We haven't really figured out exactly how we're going to approach the Midwest yet, but it is going to happen. With Jordan, Grand Rapids, or Detroit, I guarantee you one of those things is definitely going to happen. Charlottesville, Virginia, that'd be great. Hopefully we'll get, we're going to do D.C., so hopefully we'll be able to pop over to Virginia too, or at least come to D.C. I will be in Richmond, Virginia on July 14th. That is a house concert, so if you want to come to that show, you have to email me. Go to romplacone.com, email me. I'll put you in touch with the producer. That's how that show works. But I will be in Richmond, Virginia on July 14th, if anyone here is near Richmond. Let's see. Did you, where in Florida? KSD wants to know. Orlando, probably Miami, maybe the Panhandle, and possibly Gainesville. Let's see. When are you coming to Colorado? Spring of 2019, probably. Likely spring of 2019. I don't want to go there during the winter. So probably spring of 2019. Same with the East Coast. We're going to do East Coast like summer of 2019. Salem, Oregon, we're going to do the Northwest. That's also probably going to be summer of 2019. Graham is going to be in the Northwest in August, and I am going to be in the Northwest this weekend. I'm going to be in Portland for the Jimmy Dore show, so I hope to see some of you there. And by the way, if any patrons are watching, yes, of course there's going to be an after party. I will be announcing it soon. Patreon.com/Ron Placone if you want to be in the know to all that fun info. Last time we were in Portland, we had a really fun after party. Going to be the same thing this time around. Can't wait to see you guys. Matthew, Denver, Fort Collins, definitely on the list. Many communities, Marcus, thank you for the Super Chat contribution. Question, many communities are under-doctored in the U.S. If we get Medicare for all, should we also have a doctor corps like the Peace Corps to serve these communities? Let's see, let's finish these cities first, and then let's get to Marcus's question, because that's a good question. My question was way more light. Way more light. It's a really dumb statement, and it just came out of my mouth. Let's see. Spider-Man 1975, supreme job on RT. You hurt me with that Jill Stein comment, though. Shout out to the protest votes. What Jill Stein comment are you referring to? And shout out to the what do you mean by that? I'm curious. What Jill Stein comment hurt you? I'm not mad. I'm just curious what you're referring to. Because I voted for Jill Stein. Did I say something about her on RT? I don't remember. Let me know. I'm genuinely curious what you're referring to. I know you're probably being sarcastic, but I'm still, like, I honestly don't remember what I said about Jill Stein on RT. It was early in the morning. Orlando would be a good Central Florida location, and you are in Gainesville. I love Gainesville. That's a cool college town. Against Me started there. I dig it. Denver or Fort Collins. Matthew, we're probably going to hit both. Our potential Colorado run, potentially, and this is not cast in stone, but it's probably going to be Fort Collins, Denver, not particularly in that order. I'm just rattling them off. Boulder, Denver, Fort Collins, and Colorado Springs. That's likely going to be what we do. Omaha, Kansas City. All right, I love Omaha, and there's a really cool indie comedy scene. So, yeah, hopefully we're going to try to get to Omaha. Again, that's something we couldn't do in the winter. Let's see. I was a teenage Democratic Socialist. Thank you, definitely human. Love it. Love the Against Me shout out. Wesley Walker Jr. Hope you and Dora decide to come to Western New York one of these times. I do as well. I would love to get up there. I like it up there a lot. And it's been a while since I was in Western New York. The last time was probably for a college that I did near Buffalo. And that was over 2 years ago. So it's been a while since I've been in that region. All right, so Marcus's issue here. Many communities are under-doctored in the U.S. If we get Medicare for all, should we also have a doctor corps like Peace Corps to serve these communities? I would make the argument, and not necessarily make the argument, but it's my perspective, and maybe you kind of see it this way too. I don't know if we necessarily have a shortage of resources as much as we just have a distribution problem. I think that we do have a lot of medical resources in the United States. We do have a lot of doctors in the United States. I just think there's a distribution problem. And like you said, there's a lot of underserved communities. So would Medicare for All also give us an opportunity to reevaluate? Wow, I can't. It's Friday, you guys. I can't talk today. What's so wrong with all the background noise? Oh, that's my air conditioning. I didn't know it was getting picked up. Here, I'll turn it off right now. Oh, that was my AC. Sorry about that. Yeah, Wesley nailed it. Maybe he got his AC on. I did. I didn't know it was picking it up. Do I have my mic on the right setting? Well, I'm sorry I'm so... Yeah. Sorry this is such a scattered show today. It's Friday. That'll be my excuse for the entire show. The theme of this show, it's Friday, and Ron is doing everything wrong. Ron is totally screwing up on everything. A. Mars points out that tuition-free college would help produce new doctors, too. So, yeah, I think that Medicare for All would give us an opportunity to kind of restructure the way health services are spread out. And have it make sense demographically, because the profit motive in health is being stamped out. So I think that would be a good thing, Marcus, and I think it should definitely happen. And you know what that would also generate? Jobs. That would generate jobs. So there you go. All right, let's go to the tweets. And I'm going to try to start at the beginning. All right, Dana, we already covered this one about the Supreme Court's blow to unions. We did that yesterday. And we actually did the Nancy Pelosi thing, too. Or actually, no, we didn't. I take that back. We did not. All right, we can talk about that now. I watched the video, but I didn't actually talk about it. I'm just, like, thinking I did. All right, so this is from CWalk. Nancy Pelosi says socialism is not ascendant in the Democratic Party. So let's get straight to the quotes here. So Pelosi, this is in referral to Ocasio-Cortez, the 28-year-old member of Democratic Socialists of America who won in New York District 14. We've been talking about her a lot. So Nancy Pelosi was asked, is socialism becoming a serious force in Democratic Party politics? She pushed back on that notion. When asked by CBS News' Nancy Cortez if democratic socialism is ascendant in the Democratic Party, Pelosi responded with a firm no. So here's her quote, "No, they're not. It's ascendant in that district, perhaps, but I don't accept any characterization of our party presented by the Republicans, so let me reject that right now." The once and perhaps future speaker, went on to describe her party as a big tent that was home to various ideological currents. She also said each district is different, and that Ocasio-Cortez's victory is just a sign of the vitality of our party. So let's kind of break this down, because this is actually a very negative message. I mean, first of all, Nancy Pelosi, she always writes off the left. You know, she'll say stuff like, oh, we're capitalists, that's just the way it is. Oh, is democratic socialism becoming more ascendant in the Democratic Party? No, it's not. Just that district. They're trying to marginalize her victory, Ocasio-Cortez's victory. Which, keep in mind, what was that victory? A card-carrying Democratic Socialist of America who was 28 years old and was a bartender about a year ago spent 1/17 of the money of one of the top-ranking establishment Democrats who was next in line to take, or among the next in line to potentially replace Nancy Pelosi. And she beat him. It's a big deal. Is there still a long freaking way to go? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it is a meaningful win, and it is a reason to smile. Does it mean our problems are solved? Hell no. Does it mean that Dem entering's the only game in town now? No, not necessarily. Does it mean that we're going to have, a totally new Democratic? No, not necessarily. She's still only one person, sure. But it is a huge symbolic victory and a huge sign of what we're capable of. So it's a reason to smile. Even though structurally, yes, we still have light years to go. Absolutely. I'm not trying to overstate it. But it's still pretty significant and something to smile about. And, you got to keep that pulse of optimism alive. You really do. You can't let it go away completely. Otherwise, we'll all go nuts. So anyway, I think that's a fair summary. And of course, the establishment is trying to marginalize that. The media has been trying. We did a clip on how the media is marginalizing Cortez already. Nancy Pelosi, of course, is trying to downplay the win. But let me read this again. Just a sign of the vitality of our own party. So vitality refers to breathing life into something, right? So the Democratic Party is lifeless on the street. Even Nancy Pelosi is kind of alluding to that. And democratic socialism ideas and young blood and new people and people, that are breathing life into the party, quote unquote, and just new ideas. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean a young person. Bernie Sanders isn't that young. He's, bringing vitality into the party. That's for damn sure. They're the ones that are keeping this party afloat. But, again, Nancy Pelosi is saying it's a big tent. So, what is this double speak for? This is really, what she's really saying is, no, these are not our ideals. This is not what the establishment want, and this is not what we're going to give anybody. But, if those are your ideals, if you identify with the DSA, if you're a socialist, if you're a progressive, you'll bring some life into this party. We're a big tent, sure. But this ain't what we're about. We're not about that. But where else are you gonna go? You have nowhere else to go. You're screwed. That's what, if you really wanted to not sugarcoat what she said, that quote could be reinterpreted as, no, we're not about that. We're not about what she's about. But where the hell else does she have to go? She has nowhere else to go. So yeah, she's going to stay under our thumb. That's what that's code for. This is the leader of the Democratic Party, Nancy Pelosi. Leader. And this is why I think that we need a totally brand new party. What's inspiring about that? What makes you feel good about that? Hey, yeah, this is a big tent, so they're in here, but we're not about them. But where else are they going to go? Where the hell else are they going to go? Do you feel motivated right now? Do you feel inspired? Do you feel like Nancy Pelosi has your back? You shouldn't. She doesn't. Would you want to join a club where that was the pitch? Hey, I heard about your ideas. We ain't into that. But, shit, this is a clear glass, so where the hell else are you going to go? Come on in. Come on in. Shut the hell up while you're here, but come on in. We'll let you in. We'll let you in. Shut the hell up. But we'll let you in. Shut up. We'll let you in. Shut up, though. Shut up. Wow. That's Nancy Pelosi, guys. That's the leader. That's the leader. Thanks for sharing that, Seawalk. Thank you. All right. You got to read between the lines. All right. Sorry, guys. My timeline is a little bit cluttered here, so I'm trying to find it. Sorry, I trolled Marco Rubio on Twitter, so I got a bunch of stuff floating around. By the way, keep sending stuff, you guys. We still got time for more. Let's see here. This is from David. And this is a freaky looking story that I think is going to be pretty frustrating for us to go through. Because the headline is pretty scary. Minneapolis cops secretly used date rape drug on suspects for years. Wow, okay, let's see what this is all about. This is from The Root. Veterinarians use it as an animal tranquilizer because it induces a temporary paralysis-like state of euphoria. Predators have slipped it into the drinks of unsuspecting date rape victims. Psychiatrists have proposed using it to treat depression. But Minneapolis cops and emergency medical service workers have been secretly conducting a bootleg, unregulated, unscientific clinical trial for ketamine, the drug in question, authorities say. For years, they have coerced emergency medical professionals into injecting suspects with the dangerously powerful sedative, even though many of the suspects have no medical need for the drug. According to the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, the Minneapolis Department of Civil Rights quietly circulated a draft report of an investigation by the department's Office of Police Conduct Review. The report showed the Minneapolis police officers have used trained EMS personnel at the scenes of emergencies to inject suspects with ketamine for non-medical reasons. So what is this? Ketamine is a powerful tranquilizer. Again, it's used by veterinarians. Used by veterinarians to maintain anesthesia and sedate patients. It's often referred to as a cat tranquilizer. So they're just giving this to suspects to just be able to, I suppose, have an easier time handling them. In many cases, the individual being detained or arrested was not only handcuffed, but strapped on a stretcher in an ambulance before receiving ketamine. The report cites one case of police responding to a call for a woman who appeared to be intoxicated. Police sprayed the woman with mace. And despite the fact that the video showed the woman did not appear to be resisting officers when she asked for an asthma pump, the police handcuffed the woman to a stretcher, and EMS workers injected her with ketamine instead. Then she stopped breathing. She was eventually resuscitated at the hospital. So she didn't die. So you're intoxicated and you overdid it, which I would say almost all of us have done in our lifetime. I certainly have. Had too much to drink. And you need help. And you have asthma, which, could be more severe if you're intoxicated. I'm not sure. I don't deal with asthma myself, but either way, you needed assistance right away for that asthma. And the police response is to spray you with mace in your eyes and then give you a cat tranquilizer. That's serving and protecting. What the hell? Hey, I need my asthma. I need my inhaler. I have asthma. Oh, here's some mace and a cat tranquilizer. That'll help you. And by help you, we mean potentially kill you. But we don't give a shit. We don't give a shit. Because we're a legal gang. We're a legal gang with guns and badges. That's structurally what law enforcement is. That's just structurally, systemically what it is. And when I say that, that doesn't mean that every single cop is bad or corrupt. I sincerely hope that isn't the case. But the system itself is corrupt beyond repair. The system itself needs a complete overhaul. That's called a systemic problem. There's a systemic problem in the nature of the job, in the way people are recruited and trained, in the oversight, in the screening. KKK members become police officers. You're supposed to serve and protect. Here's a group of people that doesn't think all people are worth serving and protecting. They become police officers. And we wonder why we have such a big problem with racism in law enforcement. Gee, any guesses? Unbelievable. Somebody's intoxicated. They need help. You mace them in the face and then give them a cat tranquilizer. This is a sick, demented response to a human being. I mean, this is beyond abuse of power. This is beyond bullying. This is just demented and sociopathic. And in Minneapolis, apparently it was routine. And I'm sure it's routine in plenty other places too. I don't know what else to say about that. Holy shit. You know what? I'll tell you a light story to maybe kind of, because I'm going to the chat and you guys are kind of pretty holy shit too. Having a holy shit, what do you say with this moment? And I don't blame you. I gotta say, I'll tell you a light story to try to, lighten it up a little bit because it is Friday. David, thank you for sharing that story though. That was an excellent story, and I'm glad you shared it. I certainly don't want to shy away from hard stories and heavy stories, but I know that there's some other for instances in this article. We don't have time to get to all of them, but please do check that out. So here's something interesting to lighten it up. So when my cat Lucy was way younger, she was still, well, she wasn't a kitten, but she was only like maybe 3 or 4 years old. She was still pretty, or maybe even less than that, actually. No, she would have been about a year. I moved across the country. Me and my girlfriend at the time, and we both had cats. We moved across the country. And so we moved across the country. And we brought our cats, obviously, and we were driving. We were driving from Indiana, where we were at the time, to Seattle, Washington. And we got these vet-prescribed kind of sleeping pills for our cats because we knew that the drive was going to stress them out a lot. Lucy gets, still to this day, Lucy hates the car. She gets really stressed out. Unless I just let her out of her cage and let her roam around. When I was living in my car for a bit, she actually had a easy time. But yeah. So, the cat sedative or whatever was not powerful enough for her. Like, my girlfriend's cat, my girlfriend at the time, her cat, he was out like a light. He slept the entire drive. He would wake up and he would eat and he would purr and stuff, and then he would just go back to sleep. It was great. And then he was fine when we got there. It was totally, we made sure, we talked to a couple different vets. We got something that was deemed very safe, was very vet approved. We, did our homework because we didn't want to give them anything that could have potential harm for them. But Lucy, it was just too powerful. She was too powerful. So she would still whine the entire time in the car, and it would just be louder and more drawn out. It would be the whole time. And then we went to a rest area, and I was like, okay, Lucy, you can get out of the car now. So I took Lucy out of the car, and I put her leash on, because I used to walk her. I used to be able to walk my cat. She's a little too old for that now. She doesn't like it anymore. But even up until just a few years ago, she would occasionally let me walk her. Sometimes she wouldn't want to cooperate and would just be like, get this leash off me. What the hell? But anyway, she got on the leash. She let me put the leash on her, and then we ran together. We literally ran together. She was just so happy to be out of the car. We ran together all around the rest area. And everyone was looking because they were like, wow, you seldomly even see that with a dog, but that's a cat. And they are running around in circles in a rest area. And people were watching us, and they were so intrigued by this. And then at our peak time of people watching, I almost tripped and fell. I stumbled a little bit. I did not fall on my face. It would have been hilarious if I would have, and it probably would have went viral on YouTube. But yeah. So anyway, that's a kind of feel-good story, I guess, to lighten it a little bit, if y'all don't mind. So let's move on. This is from Rising 7. This is from Barack Obama. This is a thoughts from Barack Obama. You are right to be concerned. In his first public comments in months, the former president talks about anger, regrets, and what Republicans are doing right. Okay, this is in Beverly Hills. Barack Obama's message to Democrats, stop dreaming of him. Okay. Speaking at a DNC fundraiser, of course, that's... Why would he speak anywhere else? How disappointing was Obama? I'm sorry. I had tears in my eyes in 2008 when he won. Just because people were so happy and so hopeful. And I was among them. Even though, and I feel like I was a little more grounded about it than most. I mean, people were saying he's going to be our FDR. And I was like, no, he's not. I supported Kucinich in the primary. Kucinich was my guy. Because Kucinich supported single payer, Obama didn't. And for a number of other reasons, I just thought Kucinich was the better choice. When Barack Obama won, I was like, okay, this is the moderate we need. Those were my thoughts. I said, this is the moderate the country needs right now. And honestly, he wasn't, he was center-right at best. By his own admission. You can find that video. Barack Obama pretty much came out. He's like, I'm a moderate Republican. He's like, I'd be considered a moderate Republican. And we all fell for it. We fell for it. So, speaking at a DNC committee fundraiser Thursday in Beverly Hills with two party mega donors, because that's his circle. That's where he wants to be. He doesn't want to talk to you or me. He doesn't want to talk to communities. He wants to talk to donors. He wants to go to other countries and shame the voters here in the U.S. He wants to go hang gliding. Oh, man, I so wanted to believe that activist in Chicago was still in there somewhere, you know? I really did, and I don't think so. And that's a bummer. I mean, you know, I voted for him twice. I voted for him in 2008. I voted for him in 2012. And were there some victories during his presidency? Sure. There were some things where, you know, some good things happened. A lot of bad things happened. And we were not delivered what we were promised. And that's an understatement. There were some small victories, sure. But we were not delivered what we were promised. You are right to be concerned, he told the crowd, but said they'd flub their chance if they kept pining for a magical savior. This is kind of code for try to get rid of Bernie. That's what this is code for. Do not wait for the perfect message. Don't wait to feel a tingle in your spine because you're expecting politicians to be so inspiring and poetic and moving that somehow, okay, I'll get off my couch after all and go spend the 15 to 20 minutes it takes for me to vote. Again, voter shaming. Like, what the hell, dude? How tone deaf do you have to be to what's going on? All right, Obama said he's talking to mega donors. He's talking to rich people that at the end of the day are still rich. What are they discouraged about? What do they have to be discouraged about? They have both parties by the gullet. They've bought our political process. They own this place. What are they discouraged about? Are they discouraged that they would have rather seen their plutocrat instead of the one we got? Is that what they're discouraged about? They're going to yell at us and tell us how we have to put our bodies on the line to resist from their gated communities. What a joke. Don't wait for the perfect man. Don't wait to feel a tingle in your spine. Because you're these people get a tingle in their spine when they go to the bank. Because, all right, so here's the full quote. I'll get off my couch after all and go spend the 15 to 20 minutes it takes for me to vote, which only a few reported. All right, because that's part of what happened in the last election. I heard that too much. You heard what too much? You heard that people weren't inspired by Hillary Clinton because she offered them nothing? You had two of the most unpopular candidates in election history. It was literally an unpopularity contest because guess what? You know who ended up winning? The person with less votes. It was literally an unpopularity contest until the end. Which one of these candidates do people despise more? And the one with the less votes wins. That's democracy, by the way. Boil it down, Obama said, reiterating an argument he made on the campaign trail for Ralph Northam in 2017 about the existential challenge Trump poses to America. If we don't vote, then this democracy doesn't work. It's all on you voting. Ignore the Electoral College, ignore the superdelegates, ignore the gerrymandering, ignore the things that our donors want to stick around. What a soft, substanceless speech to people that are just trying to kid themselves. I'll be honest with you, this is getting back to Obama's nonsense. I'll be honest with you, if I have a regret during my presidency, it is that people were so focused on me and battles we were having, particularly after we lost the House, that folks stopped paying attention up and down the ballot, Obama said. We had record-breaking voter turnout in 2008, Barack Obama, because you did run one of the most successful grassroots campaigns in American history. Especially with new media, you knocked it out of the park. And you had a message that inspired a lot of people. A lot of people. And people turned out in droves to support you, and you won in a landslide. Then you didn't deliver on those promises. Even with a Democratic majority, you didn't deliver on those promises. And in 2012, the enthusiasm was a little more waned. Obama stuck to his routine of never saying President Donald Trump's name in public. Okay. You know, I'll give Obama credit. One area where I will give him credit is the fact that he was able to just shake Donald Trump's hand and look him in the eye. I mean, that was something I can't take away from the guy. Because if I was him, I don't think I would have been able to do that, to be totally honest with you. If I was Barack Obama and it was Donald Trump. But anyway, I don't want to get into all that. But he did not specifically discuss immigrant families being separated at detention centers. He didn't discuss the travel bans, rulings from the Supreme Court. Teed up gently but directly was DNC Chairman Tom Perez. God. who was seated next to him on a small stage asking questions to prompt the discussion. He dodged a question about Anthony Kennedy's retirement. Yeah, they don't want to talk about it because they're probably just going to bend over for Trump again like they did with Neil Gorsuch. Democrats went along with that. Enough Democrats that it wasn't a problem. The same thing's probably going to happen this time. Why? Because you have these corporate Democrats that assist Trump. You have your Joe Donnellys. You have your Joe Manchins. You have your Claire McCaskills, and they don't even have to hide it. Why? Because blue no matter who people help keep them around. It's so backwards. Ugh. Yikes. This is such a dumb speech. The event was the first of 3 fundraisers Obama is doing in California this week. Oh, where are the other ones? He'll be doing something for the DCCC and the National Democratic Redistricting Committee. Boy, oh boy. This is Mick resistance at its finest. This is the assistants. You guys are all saying that. You guys are all right. Oh, how depressing. Wesley Walker, which, by the way, I love your avatar. Get mad and loud, Ron. Yes, you got it. Sean, we'll end with Sean's question. Sean asked a really cool question. Real question, who's worse, Bill Clinton or Obama? I'll go first, Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton ushered in a hyper neoliberal age into the Democratic Party. It was a short-term strategy to win, and it was also who he really was. He's largely responsible for that. Barack Obama's part of that wave, certainly, but he's not the catalyst in the way that Bill Clinton was. So I would say Bill Clinton. Also, Bill Clinton, passed the Telecommunications Act and was a big fan of it. Meanwhile, Barack Obama, mostly due to public outcry, did the right thing on net neutrality at the 11th hour. I'll give that to him. He did the right thing on net neutrality. So yeah, I would say Bill Clinton was worse. I mean, when it comes to drone strikes and stuff like that, we'd really have to dig down and dirty and see. A case could be made for either one being worse. Both were bad. Both were very bad. But the case could be made for which one was worse. When it came to international relations, neither was good. Both were bad. And both both kind of put the country to sleep in different ways. So, but I would still go with Clinton for kind of a few structural differences. I would say Clinton's worse. What do you guys think? Clinton did worse things, but he was well known to be a centrist. That's a good point. Let's see. I agree, Clinton worse. Media monopoly, Daniel points down. Bill, hands down. Yeah, I think it's hard to... Okay, Chris is different. Obama, for sure, ramped up the wars, drones, and deporting people. That's a valid point. I mean, I think Clinton left a lot to be desired in that regard, too. He exploded the prison population. He deregulated Wall Street big time. And, he bombed a pill factory. We weren't in as amplified a time of conflict when Clinton was in office compared to the Iraq War when Obama was in office. I'm not trying to give Obama a pass by any means. I'm just saying it's hard to measure neck and neck there because there was a different place in the country. But I would say Bill Clinton totally continued the war machine the way he was told he was supposed to, basically. Alan says it's a tie. Clinton number one, DNC and Clinton Dems gave us Trump. I agree. Clinton worse. Bill, Clinton was worse. Obama was a continuation of Clinton and W's policies. That's true. I think it really depends on how you break it down. You could totally make a case for either. And I get it. it's just, yeah, I would say Clinton was worse, and I always point out how bizarre it is, and bizarre maybe is putting it too gently, that I mean, Barack Obama, I would say, was the best president of my lifetime. You know, and by best, I mean, like, he was less terrible than, you know, I mean, Reagan, Clinton, Bush the first, Bush the second. That's my lifetime. You know, that's my lifetime. So, like, Obama was, I mean, the bar is on the ground. And Obama just had a little bit of bright lights, comparatively speaking. No, Dwayne, they weren't the worst of them all. Absolutely not. I mean, it's rough. It's like choosing between a turd and a turd. Obama didn't take advantage of a 22-year-old intern. That's true. We're so due for a good president. No shit. No shit. Marcus, what should socialism look like on a local level? We sort of talk about large national scale projects, programs, but what about change at the local level? Well, I mean, we'll close out with that. A couple ideas off the top of my head. As far as acting locally, I won't answer it, you know, and you guys can weigh in on the chat, but I personally, I'm not going to answer it just under the guise of socialism. I'll answer it more broadly. What can you do locally? First of all, one thing that I'm still doing and still fighting, and I know some of you are fighting as well, I want to get municipal broadband in my community to end the net neutrality battle once and for all. I believe that the free and open internet is essential for our country, especially now, and yeah, we can't let them take it from us, and they're trying. So municipal broadband would fix that. So that's something you can do locally. Try to help the homeless situation in your community. See, there's groups that do things, shelters, activists, different programs that are out there. Find out what's in your community. If there's nothing, start something. And try to do something about homelessness. I mean, that's something, especially, I live in Southern California. Every neighborhood, there are homeless people everywhere. And it's never been this bad. So I think that's something that you can do locally. One of the things I'm going to do this winter, I'm going to have my parents I'm going to ask my parents to ship me all the winter clothes that I don't, that are like my old winter clothes. Because I grew up in Pennsylvania. There's a bunch of random winter clothes from when I was a kid that I know my parents don't use. So I'm going to either bring that back with me next time I'm in town, which would, you know, will be in November, or I'm going to have them ship it to me if they don't mind, which I'm sure they won't, and I'm going to just set it out where I know there's a lot of tent communities in my neighborhood. I'm just going to set it out so that people can stay warm at night. It's something I want to do this fall once it starts getting cold out again. Compost, recycle. I mean, you know, and these are all little things, but, you know, it's one of those things. If we all do something little in our backyard, then if everybody does that, the world becomes a better place. I know that's kind of cliche and idealistic, but it's true. So yeah, act local. I think that's a positive way to end today's show. Act local, because that's where you can make a difference. And vote local, too, by the way. Vote frickin' local. That's where your vote really matters, is locally. So act local, vote local. I think that's a good way to send everybody off into the weekend. Guys, we are out of time. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all very much. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Sorry we were a little bit late. I had some tech issues. Some shows coming up. Thank you for the suggestions. Graham Elwood and I are booking some more dates as we speak. Los Angeles, folks, the next Politics Night at the Dojo is on July 25th. Mark your calendars now. July 25th, the next Politics Night at the Dojo. Working on the lineup now. Pittsburgh, I'm in town November 23rd. Get your tickets now. Don't wait. They're cheaper in advance than at the door. They're more expensive at the door. So get them in advance. Don't wait. November 23rd. I know it's a while, but get them now. RonPlacone.com for tickets. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I will be there November 23rd. More tour dates are coming up. Hey, if you want to join the Patreon, help me upgrade equipment, help me not have tech issues, help me get a monitor behind me, and you get all kinds of perks. You get knowledge about after parties. You get free tickets to my shows when I'm in your town. You get my album, which is coming out in November. That album will be delivered to your inbox if you're a patron. What level do you have to give at to get all those things? A pay-what-you-can level. I have one tier on Patreon. It's a pay-what-you-can. $5 is the suggested, but you can give whatever level you're comfortable with, whatever you can afford, and everybody gets all the same stuff. There is no hierarchy on my Patreon, because it's way easier to manage that way, quite frankly. So you can get whatever you're comfortable with. Please consider joining the Patreon, patreon.com/RonPlacone. I love you all very much. We are completely out of time. I will be back on Tuesday. Anybody going to the live Jimmy Dore shows in Portland, Oregon, I will see you this weekend. I'll be there June 30th and July 1st at the Alberta Rose Theater in Portland with Jimmy. Can't wait to see you all there. Have a good weekend. I will see you guys on Tuesday. Stay safe. Peace.